Hey, Kate Phillips here. Welcome back to the Total Wealth Show. And I don't know if I look any different to you today or not, but you may notice I've got a bit of a sunburn. I'm a little pinker than I usually am. Here, we'll give you the full. Yes, that's a sunburn line. Really embarrassing. That happened in the Northwest in May. It only took about 45 minutes, maybe an hour out for a walk with a friend. I sunburn easily. There's a saying, either you will pay attention or you will pay with pain. And that is true when it comes to sunburns and when it comes to money and other areas of life as well. And when I woke up this morning and looked in the mirror, my first thought was, oh my gosh, I wanted to just grab a bunch of concealer and makeup and put it on my nose and cover it all up. And I resisted the urge, partly because I thought this is a fantastic metaphor for what I want to talk about today, which is financial shame. Shame actually comes from the root word. It has to do with hiding, wanting to hide. And shame makes us want to go into hiding. We want to cover things up, whether that's our sunburned nose or the muffin top or the broken heart that we cover up with a smile, or some messy finances that maybe we cover that up with a little more debt, some credit card spending. Let's pretend it's not there. One of my favorite financial books is called The Millionaire Next Door. It's an old classic by Thomas J. Stanley, and I think I'm forgetting his co-author's name. They were really the first who surveyed millionaires, hundreds and hundreds of millionaires, to get an idea of who are they and what do they really do and act like, because there was this perception, there still is this perception, that the rich are the people who are out driving the fancy sports cars and living in the big homes and eating at the fancy restaurants. And what they found was that was just not true at all. Of course, they named the book The Millionaire Next Door because they discovered the millionaire was more likely to be living in that middle-class home next door than to be living in that mansion driving the fancy car, or at least until they hit a certain level of wealth when they truly can afford to do that. So I've done a lot of interviews lately for various health or wealth or business summits, and I noticed that most people come on to do their interviews for the summit and they talk about, the millions they've made and the big successes they have had. And I have always gone the different direction. When I show up on one of these, I will talk about, my claim to fame was I was the wealth coach who lost it all, because I think it is so important. It is one of my missions in life to bust down the shame that we have around money, and it makes us want to hide, and it doesn't help us deal with it at all. Everyone is pretending, not everyone, but most people are pretending that things are better than they are. And what's interesting is those who really are succeeding wildly financially, they also tend to hide because of all of the judgment and resentment that is in our culture around wealth. So it's a no-win situation where we have been trained, that we need to be a certain way, and if we're not, then we're not okay. And I think it's just the opposite, that we need to start with the idea that regardless of our circumstances, we need to be able to find our value and believe in ourselves and start that cycle of giving and receiving that truly does build wealth, but not let our self-worth be completely hung up on by our circumstances, because circumstances can change. Of course, we have a big hand in creating our circumstances, but we have right now this pandemic going on, and people who were living paycheck to paycheck, whether they were working class or six-figure people, and yes, a lot of six-figure income people, they are in that same habit of living paycheck to paycheck. They just, spend more. You can add a zero on maybe. But when they have cash flow problems, the cash flow problems are a lot bigger as well. And I know I read something saying that we've got, lawyers who in New York City who are now standing in bread food lines because so many people did not have that savings and that stability. So I want to invite you, if you have not yet, to download my 22-page guide where I go into my embarrassing story and, the things that went wrong and my foreclosure and all of the circumstances that went wrong in my financial storm, which happened during the Great Recession. I've had big wins about money in my life, but I've also had big losses, and I want it to be okay for us to talk about the pain and the losses and to have it be okay that sometimes life is messy. And my life was very messy 10 years ago. I was caregiving my father in my home. I was a single mom and sandwich generation with mom and daughter, and I was having some health issues, and I had multiple rentals, and because of the Great Recession and high unemployment rate, not all of my tenants were paying rent regularly, so it was just a mess of a time. I was playing every month, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which mortgage shall I pay? And I ended up losing absolutely everything, including my own home. But it was also an amazing time where I got the chance to believe in myself, and I got the chance to rebuild and to find my own value, even when I maybe felt a little bit like a loser on the outside. I'm like, no, I'm not a loser. Like, I'm still the same person with the same knowledge and the same intelligence and the same, drive. I'm just in some crazy circumstances right now. And I know a lot of people are in some crazy circumstances right now with the pandemic. So I want to invite you to download my 22-page guide, Breakthrough to Abundance, 4 reasons why you're stressing over money and how to break the cycle forever. I will leave the link to that in the description, so click on that, or you can go to totalwealthcoaching.com and you will find it there on the homepage, as well as you'll find blog posts and other information. But I want to invite you to download that and to soak that in, and to also consider how you can embrace your circumstances, whatever they are, and believe in yourself, even when it may look like you're losing right now or losing. It's really just learning, of course, and something that we can embrace. And even right now, I know that the numbers just came out for savings rate, and Americans are saving more than they have saved in 39 years. And I know that's because, well, for one, you can't go out to a lot of places and spend money like you could a couple months ago. But also, I think there's been a shock to the system, and it's a chance for a reset. It's a wake-up call for anyone who wants more financial stability, more wealth, more control over your own finances. So again, check out that link in the description to download Breakthrough to Abundance, 4 reasons why you're stressing over money and how to break the cycle forever. Thanks for being here, and remember, you are powerful, you are prosperous, and you are free, whether or not you have a sunburn. It's okay. Take care. Bye.